Yeah, so I want to welcome everybody once again. This is MB session, our weekend sessions where we try to come and see how we can contribute immensely to the career growth of everyone in the community. So today it's a live career Q&A, and I'm hoping that you've come with your question either on your behalf or on behalf of your friend. And I would say that don't kind of be here selfishly. Try to reach out to somebody that you think will benefit from this session. We have seasoned mentors here, people who has been in industry for quite a while. And honestly, why can't we even learn from you who is on the call as well? So, but this is our commitment from MBKonsult to be able to add value to the community to see how we can all grow together. So let's keep the questions coming. I would maybe be interjecting with what I would call rhetorical statements and hopefully to use that to engender conversation. So once again, you are all welcome. So like Philip said, any other question or follow-up question to the question asked by Ronke? Anyone? This is supposed to be very, very interactive. Very, very. You say you want me to be asking the questions, and I won't answer a question I ask, right? Because I'm the
Yeah,
one asking.
questions.
You say what?
Please ask us questions, and I'm sure it will birth more conversations.
But you
Because I
have
have
to answer the
the
you have to
questions in
answer
my
the
head.
question I ask, right?
What did you say?
I say you have to answer the question I ask. Um, but I really want to hear from people because people talk to me, and more often than not, when people call me, it's either they are frustrated from one, from maybe something that happened to them, a recruiter ghosted them, or they sent something to somebody, nobody is responding. People are always ranting, and I have listening ears, but I'm saying let's all talk about all of those things here. Philip, you have your hands up.
No, continue. Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine.
okay. So this is a good place to ask the question. I'm also thinking about the question I can ask folks on the call now. So um, for maybe questions I've heard people ask me. So okay, let me. So this is not really a question. It's more of a scenario, which I said that I will share some of these things with hopefully whenever I have the opportunity. So let me ask, let me start this way. I've had to, I don't want to use the word address, but I've seen a few posts on LinkedIn very recently on recruiters ghosting candidates. And people have really, as in professionals, not just even entry level professionals, but professionals in their own right that have come out on LinkedIn and written a piece to say that this is unprofessional, is unacceptable. A recruiter comes to you, asks for an arm and a leg within a 24-hour window. You do everything you can out of your own schedule. It's inconveniencing. You give them everything they ask for, only for them not to ever get back to you. And people are saying that it's unacceptable, it's unprofessional. Recruiters should not be doing that. That it just goes to give them a very bad label. And I've not really given an official response because, to be honest, LinkedIn always has kinds of recommend posts for me to respond to, maybe because of my professional persona on LinkedIn. So, but those ones have not really, because I'm taking my time. But I have my own response, which I can share with you. But before I even do that, has anybody taken time to think that what is the day in the life of a recruiter? So that's the question I'm asking. And I'm sure that everybody here has experienced a recruiter ghosting you, right? So, but I'm now asking you the question: has anybody ever thought about what is the day in the life of a recruiter?
Well, if I can go first, I think I've been I'm in those shoes, so I can speak on both sides. I think when I'm hiring, you can be really swamped, especially if you have a deadline, so to speak, and all you're just looking for is that ready candidate or someone that can hit the ground running. As a recruiter, I really don't have a lot of time to sit through the racks there. I really don't have enough time for games. Even if when the resume looks great, that isn't even when I'm like even more cautious because people don't present as written on paper. So as a recruiter, I think I give it to them that they're under pressure to deliver premium to their clients because that's their brand going out there. They also don't have too much time to do lots of 100%. So I would say that if they cut corners somewhere, I'm not saying it's right, but if they just want to ghost or I don't know why they do that. I don't do it, but I think the work is strenuous in itself. Recruitment onboarding is really strenuous, and I don't envy any recruiter. That's the only thing I will say.
Thank you so much, Aderonke. I appreciate the fact that you are speaking from your own personal experience. And I appreciate the fact that you said you have also been a recruiter. So that actually just really helps, right? So that it's not like as if you're hypothesizing. So thank you. And I will come back to that. Anyone else? Hello? This is a very,
Hi,
yeah,
this is
hi.
Peter.
A very quiet class. Mm, okay.
Maybe I should
All
be
right.
asking a question and I'll be calling him to be asking the likes of often that you don't have any question that bothers you, or do you have a question that you feel you need answer? I should be asking the likes of Blessing, I should be asking the likes of JD here that you don't have any questions that you feel. I know sometimes our question may be personal to say, I don't really want to ask. Maybe you create a scenario rather than asking a direct question. That can help. I know in code, we are not like the white folks who want to maybe probably, or the other race who wants to ask a question directly because they don't care whoever is in the room. And like I said, no question is a bad question. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, please just ask questions. Like I've said before, Mike, before you came in, I was saying question beyond even career,
Mm-hmm.
question as far as investment, like saying, how can I survive? People asking question. Like I would say, look, I'm working paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know I will survive. That question is a vital question that affects you personally. Maybe you don't ask. The question is like, I didn't know how I will survive. How will I'll do things? You know, probably it's just a lifestyle. This kind of question. Or question around, yeah, I've not been called once. What is going on with me? Question, am I talking to the right mentor? Question of saying, yes, I have this idea, but I don't even know how I'll start. Because you don't have money? These are questions. I'll keep quiet here. Just to say
Yeah,
all this.
thank you so much, Philip. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, honestly, folks, especially when I look at everybody on this call, I can say that I believe I have a when I say I have a personal relationship with everybody on this call, as in we've either talked in very recent past, and I have your phone number, you have my phone number. I can call you up, you can call me up. So this is more like family here. That's the way I'm seeing it, and it would be great if we can just talk here. And we are not be all know all, but at least we can always learn from each other's experience, right? Um, Maybe while you are thinking about that, and I'm hoping that somebody will come up maybe after me right now. I just want to give us a little bit of to piggyback on what Aderonke was saying as a recruiter, and and hopefully it will help even for you to scrutinize recruiters. And that I think would be a good learning for each and every one of us, especially those of us who are actively in the job hunt space. Now, I said, imagine the day in the life of a recruiter. So I'm going to paint a hopefully a robust scenario here. So, and then recruiters, there are at least two flavors that we can talk about without going into the nitty gritty. So there's an internal recruiter who is sitting in the HR department of an organization. And then there's an external recruiter who is sitting in an independent recruiting agency. Those are two kinds of recruiters, and they have two different objectives, two different day in the life. Now, because most of the time, the people that ping you on LinkedIn are not, most of the time, they are not the HR recruiters sitting in the organization. Those people are not sitting on LinkedIn looking for anybody. Their their positions are on their career website of the company. You apply and your application comes to them. They don't come to you. Most of the time, they don't do that, right? Not that they can't, but most of the time they don't. So most of the people that are pinging you on LinkedIn, most of those people are recruiters working for independent recruiting agencies, looking for resources for them to be able to present to an employer somewhere for them to be able to interview and then hire. So that's the person I want to focus on, because that's the kind of person we are going to be talking to most of the time. So let's use a recruiter persona called Jamie. So Jamie is a recruiter working for ABC Recruiting Agency. Where does Jamie sit in the whole puzzle of the interview process? So there's an employer. Let's say employer is 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 Incorporated. 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 needs a business system analyst with Salesforce experience. Now, 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 as an organization would have contractual agreements with multiple recruiting agencies. Most of them have 2 or 3. Some even have up to 5. And they call them prepared recruiters. That's what they call them. And they have contractual agreements. You are going to help us source for resources that can fill open positions that we have. Now, why do employers of labor do that? Number one, the recruiters are called very resourceful recruiters because they know their craft. Number two, they have access to people's resumes that they can call pronto. Instead of going to HR, and HR is now going to start by saying, oh, write job description, put it on the career website, give it. They don't have time for all that. So they send that email out and say, we need a BSA with Salesforce experience. And they send emails to 5 recruiting agencies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, each of those recruiting agencies, more often than not, they have the liberty to send in 3 applications each. So recruiting agency 1, who is now Jamie, goes on LinkedIn. As a recruiter on LinkedIn, Jamie has her own portal. Jamie goes on LinkedIn, copy pastes the JD, and she puts in the requirements that she wants to see based on the JD, the skills that needs to match based on the JD. She does all of that and she posts it on LinkedIn. As she posts it on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's algorithm is going to kick in. And LinkedIn will now say, oh, these are the top 10 candidates. And don't forget, you will have put entry criteria, people that match 8 out of 10 of these skills. And that's why I tell people, if you are looking for a particular job, check what is LinkedIn telling you. How many of the skills required for that job do you have? This is just even you just populating your skills on LinkedIn. I'm not even saying whether you know it or not. If you cannot even do that, the algorithm is not going to pick you up. So the algorithm picks up 10 people. Jamie looks at them, 10 people. Oh, here's 𝐒𝐴𝐲. She has done training in Salesforce. She says she knows Salesforce, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to call or ping 𝐒𝐴𝐲 and say, hey, 𝐒𝐴𝐲, by the way, there's this, whatever. Are you interested? The way she's pinging 𝐒𝐴𝐲, she's pinging 9 other people, making 10. Now, she has a deadline to get back to the employer with 3 candidates. She doesn't need 10. So out of those 10, she pings you. You are asking questions. That one is like, she's now saying, okay, 𝐒𝐴𝐲, can you get me your CV before end of day? She's talking to 9 other people. And then maybe 7 of you get back to her that same day. You, because you are busy or because you have a job, you don't get back. She doesn't care because at that point in time, you are just numbers. She doesn't have any favorites because for her, everybody's resume is just resume at that point. So she's doing her screening, and then maybe at the end of the day, 7 or 8 of you, or even 15, 20, end up submitting stuff to her. Now, those that would also see, she didn't see you, but you saw the JD on LinkedIn, part of your job alert, you are also asking the message, blah, blah, blah. And then she's doing all of this. So Monday, Tuesday, she's trying to get down to the top 3. That's what she's doing, right? Now, by the time she selects the top 3 and she's sending it back to the employer, at that point in time, she's not going to remember the remaining of you that either applied for the job on LinkedIn, right? Because it's going to come to her portal, right? Or maybe those of you that she personally just dropped off, she's not coming back to all of you. And there you are, blessing. You also applied. You also responded. But maybe because for whatever reason, you didn't meet her entry criteria, she's not going to get back to you. She wants to get those 3 candidates that she's going to send to the employer. Now, maybe by day 3 or 4, she's been able to get all the things she needs to get from those 3 candidates. And then she sends in those 3 applications. Now, don't forget the employer is now receiving how many? 3 from each recruiting agency, making 15. So 15 applications go in to the hiring manager. The hiring manager is not going to hire 15. He's not going to even interview 15 people. We all know he's going to hire 1 person, but he's not going to interview 15 people. Now, what happens? The hiring manager will now look at those 15 job applications, and at best, they will pick maybe 3 or 4, maybe maximum 5. Now, Jamie is now checking in with the hiring manager. Did you pick any of my 3 candidates? Maybe, hopefully, they will pick 1. Now, when they pick that one, Jamie is going to now come back and say, well, they don't care. You were picked, and your interview is going to be next week, Tuesday. These are the time availabilities. Are you available? Jamie is not going to get back to the remaining 2, Blessing and Juliet, to say, oh, sorry, they didn't pick your. No, she's not going to do that. Then she now decides that she wants to prep Aderonke for the interview and says, what's your availability? And Aderonke is just 1 out of 4 or 5 people. You see how it's all going now. And this is just 1 job. Now, on the average, that recruiter is probably managing maybe 10 jobs a week. So you multiply everything I've said right now by 10. And the expectation is that the recruiter should get back to each and every one of everybody that ever applied for that job or everybody that was contacted for that job. Now, I'm not making a case for the recruiter because I can challenge the recruiter and say, listen, all you need is the appropriate AI tool to send a predefined template email to everybody that responded to you to just say, oh, sorry, we received your whatever and you were not considered, blah, blah, blah. 1-liners, 2-liners, you are done. You don't need to type any word. That's doable. That's possible. And that's why for me, what I now do is that how can I help myself not to be one of those people that will end up not being called back or not being contacted, and then I don't want to get angry at that. Now, because I understand what is happening, I'm not getting angry because I understand everything I just explained now. That's the day in the life of the recruiter. Now, but what can I do not to always end up in that bucket? Which is now what I want to tell you. So first and foremost, if you reach out to me as a recruiter, I'm going to ask you certain questions because I want to validate you that, number 1, are you a prepared recruiter for the employer? I can ask you that question. How would I know? What kind of questions would I ask you? So first and foremost, I'm asking you, number 1, do you have a job description? I'm not even going to answer you. You like call me 100 times. You can't just tell me, oh, there's a project. What project? If you cannot even explain it to me, you're already telling me you are not even a credible recruiter. And why do I say that? I will come to it in a minute. I'm asking you, do you know the hiring manager? What's his name or her name? You can't tell me you don't know because that's the person that sent you the email. So you can't say you don't know. If you say you don't know, that means you are not credible. If you say you don't have a job description, again, that means you are not credible. That means you don't have a direct line of communication with the hiring manager. For you to be a recruiter with credibility, you need to have and I emphasize, you need to have a direct line with the hiring manager. Or else, are you just a bus conductor that just jumped into any bus at the bus stop? I don't want to work with that kind of a recruiter because those kind of recruiters are also there in the market, and I will explain. So, The same way I said those preferred recruiters, those are what you call tier one recruiters. Now, each of those recruiters, they now have sub recruiters. What does that mean? So if, like we're in Canada, right? So take, for example, SI Systems or Acodis or which other one now? I can't remember. But so let's say a renowned recruiter is a preferred recruiter for an employer. They can outsource the accumulation of applications, resume, and all of that to another recruiter. So that's tier two. Now, that recruiter is now the one calling on you, Aderonke. When you start asking the questions I'm asking, most likely he won't be able to answer you. So by the time I question that recruiter, immediately I'm able to know that he's not a tier one recruiter, and I don't even go further. I discard you. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. And that's okay. Nobody's going to die because it's not going anywhere. So you imagine that recruiter will bring 3 to the tier one recruiter. The tier one recruiter has like 5 sub recruiters. So that's 5 tier 2. They will each bring 3. That's 15. And the tier one recruiter can only submit 3. You see how it's getting worse? The probability of your chances are gradually decreasing. I don't want that. So I'm screening the recruiter ab initio. Now, what's the next thing? I want to be able to, get the recruiter to a point where the recruiter should be able to answer these definitive questions and prove to me that he's a recruiter of repute. Now, let me also give you another trick. When there is a government job, if it's government, like government of Ontario, government of Alberta, or city council job, city of Calgary, city of Edmonton, city of Toronto, whatever, because it's a government agency, by law, they are obligated to always publicize every job opening, be it for internal purposes or external purposes. And what I mean by internal purposes is that an internal candidate can apply. There are internal opportunities only that external candidate cannot apply. They're not going to publicize that. That's fine. But there are roles that they will publicize that is open to both internal and external candidates. Now, how would you know that that role is that kind of a role? Again, because it's government. Government is open, transparent. They have to. The information needs to be out there. If a recruiter calls me and say, oh, there's a job opening in the city of Edmonton, the first question I'm asking is that, is there somebody in that job right now? And why am I asking that question? Don't forget, this is not a full-time employee role. This is an independent contracting role. So that means somebody is on that job. The contract is ending. By obligation, they can't just roll over the person who is on that job, right? So what that means is that they're going to bring out that job. So you are the one on that job currently. It's a 1-year contract. It's ending. By obligation, they're not just going to come and ask you, do you want to continue? Oh, okay, just continue. No, that's not how it works. They're going to make that job open to the public because it's government. And then they're going to receive everything I've said about tier 1, tier 2, whatever. But they're going to ask you who is there. Do you want to continue? Now, you are not going to know anything about this. But the recruiter, if it's tier 1, the recruiter can ask City of Toronto, City of Edmonton, and say, is there somebody in that role right now? And that question is technically public information. They need to answer. And they will tell the recruiter that, oh, yes, there's somebody on the role, but we are obligated to post the job. And that's why they are doing it. So when the recruiter calls me and I know it's a city or government job, I can ask the recruiter that as well. And when I ask the recruiter that as well, the recruiter needs to answer me. It's not a question you tell me you don't know. If you tell me you don't know, you're not a recruiter of repute. I discard you. Now, if you come back to me and say there is what they call is that we call it an incumbent. If the recruiter comes back and says there's an incumbent, I can tell you that a recruiter of repute does not pursue a role that has an incumbent. So me as a candidate, I'm not even going to touch it. You know why? Because 99% of the time, the incumbent is going to be the one that will be hired. Now, so that people doesn't think that I'm just speaking out of context, I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a sec here. So let me see, what am I sharing? Can you see my screen? Are you folks seeing my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to bring my LinkedIn here. So, right. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes, it's showing LinkedIn.
Yeah, show LinkedIn. So, a recruiter reached out to me the other day, and so this person. So this recruiter reached out to me. Look at the conversation. So greetings, looking for blah blah blah. Alberta Social Housing Corporation. When I mean government, any government parastatal. When it starts with the name of the city or the province, that's a provincial job or city. So if interested, please send your resume. You can either reach me or whatever. What was the first question I asked? This is whether we are doing this session or not. This is my life that I'm showing you. What's the first question? You can't just tell me you're looking for anything. What are you looking for? Hello, Anila. Thanks for reaching out. Do you have a JD you can share with me? This is my email, so I can make an informed response to you. How can I send you resume for something I don't even know what the job is? It doesn't work that way. If interested, please say, send resume for what? For a bricklayer job or for a plumbing job? That's my first question I'm asking. Okay, next. Hi, Michael. Thanks for your response. Anu just emailed you the JD. It should be from. So she sent it to her own junior. That's fine. I received it. I'll revert shortly. Thanks. Okay. Next. Thanks, Michael. So I'm responding. Hello, once again, Anila. It's looking to me as though there's an incumbent for this role at the ASHC. Are you able to confirm that? Secondly, what is the proposed rate for the role? These are the questions I ask, and anybody can ask this question. If the recruiter cannot answer you, it's not credible. Full stop. That's nothing to do with you. I look forward to your response. Hi, Michael. I believe there's no incumbent. Let me just reconfirm and get back to you. That was the previous day. She came back the following day, 7:45 a.m. This is the previous day, 12:43. Took her about 18 hours to get back. He said, Mike, you were right. There's an incumbent for the role at ASHC. The proposed rate is $70 to $80 an hour on incorporation. Please let me know if you are interested in applying. What's my response? Hi, Anila. Thanks so much for getting back to me. I truly appreciate it because most don't. I will pass on this opportunity while I look forward to more suitable opportunities as I remain open to explore opportunities. And I felt, let me be more professional so that she will understand. I'm not just fading her off. In light of full transparency, in my experience, when there's an incumbent, success rates of other applicants are usually very low. I understand the need for the opportunity to be out there being a government establishment. What's our response? I understand. We keep you posted with other relevant roles in the future. Thank you. Is that making sense, guys? I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste her time. This has nothing to do with whether I'm 20 years experience. It's irrelevant. 90% of people that will apply for that role, they're not getting it. So let me stay there and let me hear contributions from the audience. If you think maybe I'm just crazy. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
This is Abby here. I think it's good that you nosedived and you did your inquiry. The only thing I will say is you were able to go that route because of based on your experience and your audacity, and you know your onions. Now, speaking for people that maybe they're just new, they're jump hunting, and they just want anything at all costs. I'm very sure they might not go that route, which I think you sharing your experience is an eye opener to all of us. No matter the level or cadre you are on the ladder or the rung you're on that ladder, I agree that do your homework by engaging, show that confidence and engage. It has happened to me before, and I think this person just same thing, sent me personal email. I was excited. I'm like, oh, I'm being headhunted. But just like you said, I didn't know that I was not being headhunted. It's just like cast your bread on the waters, whosoever it hatches, right? So perhaps there was an incumbent, I don't know, or perhaps, okay, other people responded because I was like, okay, can you share information? I was just probing and nothing came forth. And the next thing I heard was, oh, they hired someone, or maybe there was a hold. So I think the audacity is very important for all of us, knowing what what you stand for, what you, is not pride, it's more like, okay, you just want to make sure that you're not exerting energy on your wild goose chase only to come back and flap them. So I think I like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ade. I appreciate that. Now, I mean, I say that, and again, it's not. So this is not coming from a place of, oh, it's just because you can say whatever you want to say about me, right? But what I'm trying to teach people is that I don't want you to get frustrated when that frustration can honestly be avoided. And that's what I want to teach people. It's not all jobs that you have to apply for. And when you come on the mentorship and career coaching program you don't have to apply for all jobs. There are some jobs that there's no need applying. And if I sit down with you and we do the analysis, you had no business even applying for the job in the first place. So when people come to me and they say, oh, I'm applying, nobody's calling me, yes, there's the place of, yes, we understand what the labor market is saying right now. But you should also have a strategy for the jobs that you are applying for. It's not all jobs that you apply for. You apply for jobs that the probability of you getting something good coming back, in spite of the things you don't have control over, that's the kind of job you should be applying for. Right? And I'm not going to go into all of that. So that's just what I wanted to pass across here, so that you don't end up with the frustration. And you know why? So let me tell you something. I stay in Alberta province, right? So maybe I know a bit more about what is happening in Alberta province. Because government, so me personally, I'm a little bit averse to government roles. A lot of people just feel like government role is the best thing that can happen to you. Yes, I agree. But take a step back and understand, how does that actually work? Now, the government of Alberta, because it's government, as you and me, you can go and register a company right now, and you register it as a recruiting agency, and you apply to government of Alberta as what they call a preferred recruiter. If you have your paperwork intact and it's all good, it's not really a very difficult process to become a preferred candidate for government. And the reason why they do that is because they are government. At the end of the day, they're spending our money. It's taxpayer money. So as long as they can be transparent, that's all they need to do. And you can get registered as a government of Alberta preferred recruiter. Now, on record as of today, this is public knowledge. I'm not telling you what people don't know. The government of Alberta has close to 50 preferred recruiters. So that means for every job that government of Alberta is posting out there, there is potential 50 recruiting agencies posting that job. Now, what does that mean? If each of them is submitting 3 applications each. So what is going into GOA at the end of the day? An average of about 100, 120 applications for one role. Now, don't forget that the 3 applications from each of those preferred recruiter doesn't mean they received 3 applications. Maybe they received 10, 15, 20, 30. Only God knows. Now, you can do the math, right? Again, I'm only telling you from my experience. So if you now keep telling me I've been applying for this government job, for the past 3, 4 years, yes, that's why it is. Because that's what's happening. Now, does that mean you should not apply? There are people that get hired, because I'm also doing that research on a day-to-day basis. But most of those roles, there is an incumbent. And they would always prefer an incumbent to an external candidate. But that does not mean that they are not going to put the job out. They must put the job out. So again, I'm just trying to help people be way more strategic. There are other jobs you can apply for. If you want to get into the strategy of what jobs to apply, when to apply, how to apply, and all of that, then you have to sign up for the coaching program. We'll teach you all of that. But I'm just saying at this point that I want people not to feel frustrated in scenarios where they could have actually avoided the frustration. Again, I get you, Ade. You are not as experienced. You are looking for a job anyhow. But at the same time, too, let's be smart about it. Thank you. So, any questions or any follow-up comments from whatever I have said? Hello.
Hi, I think you balanced it. I think you balanced it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think you're asking us not to be hungry, but we have to be strategic at the same time, also know what you're looking for. So you're not just going around like a headless chicken.
Wow, I like the analogy of headless chicken because I personally experienced that. I was trying to kill a chicken way back in the day, and unfortunately, between me and the chicken, I didn't cut off the head, and the chicken just took off. That was a funny experience. But anyway, thank you. Uh, questions, folks. Questions. Sophia, good to see you. Questions. Okay, let me ask this question. How do you analyze jobs you want to apply for? Do you even have like a checklist to analyze the jobs that you apply for? What do you do? What do you ask yourself? What do you tell yourself? How do you convince yourself to apply before you apply for a job? Or do you just apply for all jobs? Hello?
I will go after two people talk.
Okay, please do. Oh, okay, after two people. I thought you said you go after them. You call them out.
Okay, I'm gonna call Favor.
Okay. No, don't call Favor. Favor is my personal person. No, don't call Favor. Leave
I'm
Favor.
gonna call Juliet and John.
Juliet is a big woman. No.
Okay, I'm gonna
No,
call
no, I'm not saying
Sophia.
don't call her. I'm just saying. Call her, call her. I'm
No,
not
I'll call
defending
Sophia.
Juliet.
At least I know
Yeah, yeah.
Sophia. Let me call
Okay,
Sophia.
okay, call Sophia. Sophia, you have been called though. The question is, how do you determine or decide that I want to apply for this job? What do you do? Okay, Sophia can't talk right now. Okay, thank you. Babajide, what about you?
Maybe I will speak, and then maybe
Okay,
everybody's not speaking. So I'm going to speak in general terms. So applying for jobs, I think I mentioned something that questions, answers depends on various factors. So at times, if if you're in a good place, you are working, like they say, it's the best time to be applying for job. You can be selective applying for job. That's for candidate A or person A. Person B may be like, I have bills to pay. So at this point, it doesn't care whether it's a one-man show, whether it's a McDonald's, whatever. You just need to pay his or her bill to say, okay, I have to pay this so you can apply for any job. There may be some other set of people who rather don't work in, whatever, but it can be selective. So it now depends on how, like, okay, based on my skill set, this is what kind of job I can do or where I'm coming from. And some, I'm new in town. I have various skills, but I'm running out of cash. I have to pay bills. So at that point, Maybe the answer will not be I have to be selected for a kind of job. Just give me the job, I will do it. So that also comes to that. I don't know if that answers from our side of story, knowing people are also part of that to say, okay, I've seen people who just said, Philip, you know what? Anyhow job, let me just get it so that I can even meet up to my payment. I don't want to be stranded or I don't want to beg. So those are my own answers.
Okay, I'll go next. How have I applied for jobs in recent past? Two ways. So on my LinkedIn, I when I had the LinkedIn Premium, so I had the AI feature that would tell me the jobs that I'm best suited for, or that I have like 90% or so, where I am strongest. So that tool, that feature will recommend jobs to me. So at least it reduces the work of checking each post. So utilizing technology to filter for me. I also apply for jobs based on personal interest. So interest being that, okay, I just recently learned Salesforce. I want to put my foot in the door. I see the post. I don't have the 100%, but because I'm really interested, even if I don't have 100 and I have like 60 some, I still apply because it's based on interest. So I don't do what I am 100% suited for. I still apply for things I'm interested in and I want to try and put myself out there. So that's how I've been doing it, but open to responses from the pros. Thank you.
So thank you for your response, Ade, and thanks, Philip, for that input. So let's hear from other people. Juliet, what do you do? Big woman like you.
Hello, everyone. For me,
Hello.
it's a lot of things. Like I know they said for women, especially visible minority women, they always want to get to 100%, like they are qualified before they even apply, as compared to male. Um, and for me, I also like personal experience. I also like to be even qualified, like to some great degree, have 80% of the requirement. And before I even apply, as much as lately, I like what Philip said, like it depends on situation. I know in time past I have applied out of, oh, I need a job right now, I need to pay bills, so anything goes. But if I'm talking about the now, what do I need? I always look at, if I get this job, am I getting it for a short term, or I am getting it because I want to grow in this part. I want to use this to grow, to add something to my portfolio. So a lot of things depend on the situation will make you apply for a job or will make you go for a job. Like right now, I am looking for legal experience. Like I'm looking for legal experience on labor law. I'm looking for legal experience on ethics. So I will be looking at for job that have that. I'm not looking at for, even when I get this first gig, I don't prioritize it because my interest is not somewhere. It's because I want to get that knowledge. I want to be able to have that experience. So it depends on the phase that you are in life and what you are looking for. Then you can determine, it will determine the way you look at for jobs. Or and I'm also noticing lately that jobs are coming to me based on recommendation. Like people ask, I've worked with Juliet on this, she's able to do it, go and meet her. So it is not coming like, oh, I have this contract. Before, I don't like contract jobs, but now I'm taking them as a way to build my own business portfolio. So it's a phase in my life. There was a phase that I was focused on full-time jobs, but now this phase is more of plenty contracts here and there, and yeah. So it depends on the phase. I think that's my own contribution.
Fantastic. A minute, Philip. Fantastic, Juliet. And thank you for, I like the way you put it. And I think it alluded to what Philip was saying, right? That, for those of us that maybe, there's experience, behind it, you are able to even look at phases in your life where I know, I mean, having a conversation with someone like you, here you are, Juliet. If we had talked about contracting 3 years ago, you wouldn't even listen to me, right? But here you are now, listening to you. I'm like, wow, even Juliet, look at where she is now. So, but having said that, right, so that people don't lose focus of, and that's why I like the way you said phase of life, that in your own face, you may not be able to say what Juliet is saying. You may not be able to say what I am saying, but it still begs the question as in, you need to know what you want and how to target on what you want. And I'll come back again after, Philip. Um, Philip, please go ahead with what you want to say.
Yes, I wanted to follow. I know I've not even given my own answer personally to what Julian said. I mentioned earlier to say there was a time you'll be looking for a particular job, and that time I think goes by because you have plans to say this is my 1 year plan, 2 year plan regarding to my career or where I'm headed. For me, where I'm headed now is, yeah, I'm in a tech space, but tech is changing. What would change in the future? People will say AI will come, will go, but in terms of governance of the AI, I'm actually looking at that space of the AI side of governance. Um, I know I have a colleague or a friend who we are on the same career path kind of. So I'm looking at the governance part of the AI. I know a lot of you know about CISA system, right? In their space, they have this AI certification, which is new. Something I'm looking at. Okay, year end, will I write the exam? Because the technology is changing, right? So if I can't build AI, who will manage in terms of risks, building the framework around the AI, the governance of the AI itself? That's a new set of field that I'm also using this to also tell everybody on this platform to, hey, take a look at it. It's not going to be mathematics. It's not going to be you configure, but it's you guiding, because the regulatory part is the most worrisome part that the AI, people who are the innovators behind AI are worried about. And then, of course, there is a body that tries to say, hey, how are we going to manage it? So I'm tilting towards that. So someday in the future, my resume, my CV, or my career path will still be like, hey, how AI is governed, how organization want to see that it is secured, how they want to see that steps before you implement it. What are you going to look at? Risks, kind of cautious, kind of the regulatory part, and even government will be looking at that, and every sector, not just implementing AI. So it's beyond AI implementation, and that part is, I feel, will be vital. AI cannot also audit himself. It's going to be involve human who will audit it, and I feel the first set of people will be in that space will be the one that will lead that story back. So that's personally for me, and I'm also using that to share to everyone. Thanks.
Fantastic, Philip. I fully agree with you. It's like as if you stole my playbook. I know you didn't, because that's something I'm also looking into. I think everybody is talking about AI, but nobody is talking about the ethics of AI, right? Which is exactly what you're saying. So, no, thank you for that input. And it doesn't involve so much of technicality. So, if people are saying, "Oh, I don't have the technical know-how to, to code, go and learn Python, to start programming or doing AI scripting," there are other ways you can get yourself embedded into the whole AI space without having to get into technicality. So that's just actually one very good space to actually dwell in. So thank you for that contribution. Anyone else before we pass it on to Aderonke wants to contribute? What do you look out for when you are in your job, job search, job application? What's your checklist? What does it look like? Hello, anyone? Ofonime, are you sure you are here? Can you say hi? I think. Mhm. I didn't hear your voice, so funny, man. I know you came off mute for like half a second. Is
I'll
anybody
speak
else
at the
hearing
moment.
me? Aha, now I can hear you. Aha. I was thinking, is that you or are you the note taker? Because, okay, that's fine. All right, Aderonke, let's go over to you then.
Yes, I already replied. I responded rather.
Really? Where was I?
Yes, I responded before Juliet. After which Juliet now.
Oh, okay. All right. No, thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. Any question from anyone else?
I I have a okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
I was going to ask a question, but I don't think it's a question per se. It was I can share it though. I can share it.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to one of like a coach and a mentor that I really like
Mm-hmm.
online, and then it is also about career, not career pivoting per se, but doing what you really are suited for. And he mentioned something about your blind spot, having other people tell you something about you that you don't even know. So you might think I'm a medical doctor, and others are saying, you know what, you are better a public speaker, right? And that can help you know where really, really to focus your energy. So my question is on this platform, I don't know if there is room for such or if there's a forum for such where one can ask someone like me ask those kind of questions because personally I think I can. Okay, yeah, let me put it that way. Is there a forum like that?
I'm trying to understand what you're asking. As in, are you asking
The
for?
question I asked is that is it possible to have a forum whereby you can have other people feedback on what they perceive you as, where they think your strengths are, so that you can channel your energy into sort things maybe for career purposes or for things you can invest time in. Let's say, for instance, me as a person. So I might think, okay, my current day to day is I'm a medical doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm this. But people might say, you know what, that is just work. But
Mhm.
what we see you that you thrive in is actually, oh, you cook well. Why don't you look into that area of your life?
Mm.
Some having
Yeah,
that kind of
okay.
feedback from
Yeah.
peer, maybe I don't know if that's something
Yeah,
possible.
no, yeah, so if I understand you, I think I understand what you're saying, but I'm like, in you getting that feedback, I feel like, why don't you reach out to people that you believe know you well enough, right? Because it's not just anybody. Even if you put a poll out there to say, hey, can you tell us what you think Aderonke is good at? Do they know you well enough to be able to provide,
Yeah,
constructive, objective feedback? So, but you will know people that know you. And then
exactly.
perhaps I would say, if you really want that, I would say you should be the one to make that connection, schedule a meeting with them, and then you can ask the questions and let them respond. And you take that feedback and then you run with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was why I was hesitant to share because I thought, okay,
No,
yeah,
I really appreciate it too. That I think it's good, but I don't know how we want to like make it at a forum level because I
mm-hmm,
think that's what you
mm-hmm.
were saying. So that's I
Yeah,
don't have a response to that, and that's why I said maybe you reach out to those people. But
that makes sense.
yeah,
That
let's
makes
hear
sense.
from Philip. Yeah.
Yeah, just to also answer that question. So I think that question won't be from only you. A lot of people want to actually say, "Oh, what am I good at?" I think you also have to meet people who know you a bit better,
Mm,
then they can ask you the right question. And I think one of the questions they will ask you, which is always there, that you should have asked yourself is, "What do you love doing?" And aside, what do you love doing? For the past 5 years, what do people normally say? You're good at this. Why didn't you do this? I think that always indirectly people are telling you what you are good at. That how hey, this thing, why didn't you take it serious, right? So some people, if you go and check people who are created maybe business or move from one part to the other, they were like, oh, you like cooking, you like this. Why didn't you open something? It's, no, I just like it for fun. And one day they just started, and then the next thing, boom, that's the path, and they enjoy doing that, right? So it's also asking yourself some question or meet the right someone that will sit you down for 30, 40 minutes, ask you the right question, like Michael said, rather than having a platform. The platform will be rather the individual who is more savvy and who knows you better, and to say, I want to have a section with you to ask me the right question or what I know. So by the time you go back and forth answering, you'll be able to figure out one or two, three things you have. And by nature, individually, we have 7 gifts naturally. So you start to see we are good at one, you're not good at one. It's now you becoming a master of one out of the 7 or 2 or 3. Then you keep growing with that, but you pick the one that excites you more. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Philip. Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ofonime. Is it just me? I'm not hearing Ofonime. Ofonime, I'm not
Good evening,
hearing
all.
you. I don't.
Just
Okay.
to
Good evening. We're
I
hearing you
wasn't
now.
able to speak while Mr. Mike called me.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Can
now.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Are
Hello, can you
people
hear me?
hearing me? Okay.
Yes, I
Can
can hear you.
okay. Can you hear me, Michael, or you're hearing Ofonime?
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening,
Ofonime, I
everyone.
can hear you. Yeah. Can anybody
Okay.
else hear
I
Ofonime?
just thought I should say something
Yes,
since
I
you
can
have
hear
called
Bonnie
Okay.
me
and
All right.
Michael.
Yeah.
because I wasn't able to talk.
Okay, we're hearing you. You can please go ahead.
Okay, I can hear you very well. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I said I wasn't able to talk when you called on me to contribute, although I was listening actively, and what I would have contributed concerning the question that you raised, and what it seems like a lot of people have said, especially Mr. Philip, talk about that people actually apply for work because of their situation, especially over the side of the world. I've gotten a situation that I reach out to somebody, 2 or 3 people concerning self-worth issue, and they told me, sorry, I'm no longer in that space. I'm doing something different. And these are people that have dedicated their time that I know that they were very good during the cohort that I belong to. But because of the job market and the situation that they found themselves, they have to pay the bills. They have to survive. They have to keep going, and they venture into something that not that they really like it. They really want to get out of it, but because of there's no time to still commit that time and invest that time into finding the right one. And I've also found myself in that situation that sometimes not everyone are lucky have to have the opportunity to secure a job immediately or whenever they are looking for it. And maybe you find yourself in a situation that you have to jump into something to survive, hoping that you will pivot back to the IT that you have invested your time and money into. But at the end of the day, you are stuck. So it's kind of dynamic in a way that it's a kind of dynamic in a way that people are concerned. Should I continue investing in the right part of the career that I have spent money and spent time, or should I continue?
Thank you, Ofonime, for that contribution. Philip, please go ahead.
Offer, thanks so much for the question. Um, I may not be able to answer the entire question, but I think Michael or anybody will add to that. But I just want to that question, I've come across that question, I've asked myself that question, but the answer, and I know that sometimes it's like, I have a friend, not a friend, he used to be my medical personal doctor kind of when I was in Nigeria. And imagine someone who's a doctor, good school, UI, finished, and we're talking one day until I just passed my stockbroking exam. He became chartered stockbroker. The last I checked on his LinkedIn, he was doing a medical doctor, chartered broker, a real estate person. This essence of career is not for us to be boxed. Because I study engineer or engineering, I have to be an engineer forever. Because I study Yoruba language, I'm a Yoruba language. We had people who are Yoruba language graduates who became MD, top bank in Nigeria, right? Precisely was First Bank. So people study history and become MD of a bank. People study engineering and became Philip Udoza, which at the point I know when I was working in UBA, right? I know he studied engineering. People are chemical engineering. I have said it and I'm repeating it. I will say it again. Things will change. Career will change. The question, are you flexible to change? Because it's a journey. You have to pivot. You have to change. You have to adapt. So your offer, if I hear you well, it's not a waste. It will connect. So I studied engineering. I'm good at mathematics. When I'm in the boardroom, talking to accountant, talking to people, I'll be using the engineering skill of detailing. I'll be using the engineering skill of understanding where and where to go. There will be strength. The fact that we have BSc doesn't mean it's just first degree. At a point, the real world will shape us. Your first job, your second job is likely to be that your career path. And you will keep changing. So for me, to you, for the first, it's not a waste. Secondly, it's now left for you to change. Like you said, you went to meet some people and you felt they've wasted their time. No, it's not a waste of time. It's a point you connect the dot. Like you just said, at a point you connect the dot, right? That, oh, this is what I did and this is what I've studied. Imagine you finish as a first class student, chemical engineering, and you end up to be an accountant, right? Or you studied biochemistry in your life and you end up to be like that person, to be a teacher. So it varies. The question is, when the tasks come, will you be able to handle it? So it's getting the job done that makes you better, not even the certificate you carry. That's my own contribution. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Philip. Does anybody else want to respond to Ophonime's question?
Okay, thank you, Michael. So I think Philip, he kind of do justice to it, right? And for me, one of the things I always say is continuous learning. So even if it's that same space that you invested in, that eventually got a job, learning is still continuous, right? So everything again goes back to, and this of course is not enjoyment, it's just, I mean, the whole idea of this session is, let's speak to each other, what are the advices we can give, and all of that. Forget the time or how invested those individuals that you went to, actually invest in that space. At the end of the day, your personal attitude will go a long way. There are people that I personally have seen in career that don't know jack. Like, they are, if you want to rate them 1 to 10, they're in that category of 1 to 3, and they're the one commanding the room. Everything goes back to the attitude. So my own is, learning is continuous. So that people leave does not mean you must leave. The reality, like I always say to people are getting job every day. Forget about scarcity or whatever. It's all about perspective. If your focus is for those that are getting job, you'll be amazed that the only people you'll be seeing are people getting job. But if you're on the other side, like, oh, more job, this scarce, or is those people that are scarce. In fact, people that the job is scarce for, they'll be the one calling you. So the mindset, there's a lot with the mindset. It's not a must to change. It is good if that option, if it's within your bandwidth, to start a new thing. For me, I'll say within that same thing you learn, And this is a reality check. If you, which is something I always do, self-awareness. I always ask myself, like I paint scenarios and I ask myself the most critical question. To you at the moment, in that same thing that you invest that time in, if today you are in front of somebody to interview you, if you are to rate yourself 1 to 10, what rate will you for? And that goes back to the attitude and what you're actually doing in terms of that same time that you invested in that thing. So opportunity is everywhere, right? The attitude we put to it goes a long way. People will always tell you things that the same. Sorry to go back home. People are saying Nigeria is fraud, Nigeria is this. There are people that if you tell them they should relocate, they will tell you over my dead body to go and do what? That their own traveling out of Nigeria is for vacation. That is the same country people are telling you is war. So everybody is personal. It's the attitude you put to it. It's what you want that you get, right? So that's just a little I want to add to what Philip has said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, John. I don't think that can be better said. And honestly, I'm not even going to add anything to that. Your attitude, your your level of positivity on whatever you are doing, and you don't have control over anything else. The only thing you have control over is you. That's the only thing. And that's why somebody said, be the change you want to see. Because the only person you can change really is you. You can't change anybody else. So again, somebody said you don't have control over a bird flying over your head, but you can take control over a bird nesting on your head, right? Once the bird nests on your head, it's your responsibility to say, hey, you can't stay here, get out. But you don't have control whether a bird will fly over your head. You don't have control over that one, right? So at the end of the day, it's all still about personal responsibility of Onime. Because if you get yourself to the point where you are getting yourself weighed down over things you don't have control over, and that's why when I started off with the whole recruiter, I'm not angry at any recruiter. I've stopped. I was there before. And if you come to me and you start yelling at me and say, oh, this recruiter did this, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I'm not pointing finger at any recruiter. The recruiter too is hustling. Some of those recruiters, they are on commission only basis. They don't get paid until they find somebody that is actually employed for that job. So everybody is hustling. Everybody is hustling. So, but you just need to, again, like we said, having mentors working with you, have the right strategy. That does it mean it will work on day one? Maybe not. But keep at it, keep evolving. Don't just say, oh, because this is not working or that was working. Be open-minded, be ready to adapt, be ready to pivot, whatever it takes until you get what you want. And the prayer is that God, in his own time, would answer our prayers. So with that said, I think this is a very good place where we'll draw it to a close. I can accommodate for maybe one more comment before we just wrap it up. While I say again, thank you for everybody that took the time to join. And we will be here again in 2 weeks' time. And hopefully, we're going to be getting Career on Track founder and lead product owner, which is Olu Samuel, will be coming back with his team to demo some of the other functionality and capabilities of the Career on Track app that he's leading. So that's going to be in 2 weeks' time, which would be on the 9th of August, second Saturday in August. We are committed to coming out here as MBKonsult every second and fourth Saturday of the month. That's the cadence. Second and fourth Saturday of the month. That's our commitment to come out here and be of value to the community. And again, reach out to me one-on-one. If again you want to be part of that career and mentorship, program. Maybe on the next session, I will take the time to talk a little bit more about it. But feel free to reach out. It's, we have a cohort going on right now, and feel free to reach out to me or to any of the seasoned mentors on the call here if that's something that you will be interested in. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. If there's no other person that has any comments or something to say, then I think we can gracefully stop the recording and then end the call.